the one complaint that you guys see more than any others that kind of comes around on a regular basis?
I mean,
I got it for you.
Yes, let Tom take it away.
Sadly, the number one basis of discrimination, I'm going to give you the top three, actually. I'll give you the top three. The number one basis of discrimination is retaliation. Number two,
I definitely can understand that one.
Number two is discrimination based on race. And number three is dealing with disability. Number four would be like sexual harassment. But retaliation, number one, whether it's inside the federal government or private sector,
across the board.
Number one, across the board.
You know, it's funny because out of those four, I would think right off the bat, sexual is right there. And then I would think, I wouldn't think of age, but retaliation wouldn't be one that I think that people think about automatically. Boy, but when you think about it, that's one that is a big one. So, Mr. Blowout King,
let me ask, how do you guys deal with like employees now when it comes to like social media and like the life that they have like outside of work? And if like your employer sees that like you were on this weekend and you were like turning up and they're not a fan of what you were doing or what you're putting out there, are they able to come to you and be like, you can't work here because of what you did this weekend? And is that person able to come to you and say, hey, what I do in my personal time is my time, and they're not allowed to fire me or whatever reprimands there are? Do you guys see that?
I think the only way that the EEOC would be involved is if there is a difference in treatment based on a protected class, meaning that if, let's say, two workers or a group, let's say 10 workers, they went out and did something and they posted something on social media, and only one group, let's say the women, they were the only ones that were reprimanded out this group. And if we can say that there was but both groups, male and female, engaged in the activity, then we may be able to get involved based on the treatment that the employer gave to the employees. But if it's like an individual situation like what you're referring to, I don't believe that will be within the scope of the EEOC unless there is someone that you can compare yourself to that is a different, that is not like for example, a Caucasian person, and they did something that is the same as you, but was treated differently. So there has to be something that we can compare you to in order to see if discrimination, unlawful discrimination occurred at the workplace. So it's kind of complicated, but I think the best way for anyone, if they believe that they're discriminated against and they believe that they're being unlawfully discriminated against, just contact us. Go to the EEOC website and fill out one of the, go into the public portal, fill out an inquiry, and we would be able to tell you through our intake process whether or not something is what we cover or what we don't.
How often, how many inquiries do you get? Because it seems like that could be an easy one. Like everyone can be like, I feel like
I'm gonna defer this one to Tom because I don't know the numbers offhand, but he is our numbers person since he's our director.
Okay. Well, inquiries, we get thousands of those a year. Now, as far as active cases in the Charlotte district, we normally have between 3,000, 3,500 cases that we're actually investigating at all times. I am very fortunate to have a very strong investigative team, and we also have an awesome, legal team working with us. But just to go back to the thing that on your other question, and I just want to applaud Gabrielle because what she said was correct, is that even if you think, you may think that it's, something that is discriminatory, or you may have not been treated fairly, file the charge. Because again, let's say you went out on the weekend, you turn it up a little bit. Well, you may have said a few things about the employer that may not be covered by EEOC, but might be covered by another federal agency. And that's why, as Gabrielle says, if you think that something went wrong, just call us. I mean, we can research that for you and try to give you the best advice possible.
One of the good things about businesses, and shout out to Tom, got to give you kudos to Gabrielle. She is out here, she is out here letting people know about the power of EEOC. And it's always a pleasure because like people don't know what they don't know. And that's the thing. And we go through life with that. And you're saying you don't have to be discriminated against. There's some help out there. Okay, so you said a ton of people contact you, said I've been done wrong. You look at it, at what point, and now we got to go to the retaliation point. At what point does the employer look up and said, oh boy, that Mike King, I knew that guy was going to be a problem because all of a sudden I get the EEOC and now I'm really in trouble. Like how long before in the process does it take before you guys contact them that I know I may need to be looking for another place of employment because things might not be all warm and fuzzy here?
Well, once an employee files a charge of discrimination. So that means they've talked to us, they actually did the process of filing an actual charge of discrimination. The employer is informed of this within 10 days. And then they're given some other time to respond. But if someone were to file a charge, they are notified the employer is notified within 10 days of the charge. Okay,
Gabrielle. So the employer is notified on Monday. I walk in to work on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then? Like, what's the workplace like? How, like, what happens then? Like, am I protected?
The law does protect everyone against retaliation.
Oh,
so
okay.
Hopefully they don't do anything. I mean, because everyone has the right to pursue their legal rights